everybody! So I'm on the road to an undisclosed location. Right now I'm in the Grapevine, which is a mountain range just north of LA, and I'm passing right now Pyramid Lake, and the visitor center for the Pyramid Lake is this big building that's shaped like a hexagon. And the mountains actually look like pyramids. They look like pyramids that have been covered in dirt, like over periods of long periods of time, I guess. But there are like serious power lines that are going in and out of these mountains, and it's also right next to, oh, there's Sammy. Oh, and I wanted to say thank you to all my new subs, and to Jason, Christopher for giving me the shout out, and yeah, I really appreciate it. He's a funny guy, cool guy. And so another thing is I also just passed was Magic Mountain, Six Flags Magic Mountain, and that's a theme park, and it's not. It's named for a mountain, right? That it was built right next to it, called Magic Mountain. And I just think it's interesting. This is all just right north of Hollywood, and like, what if it's some kind of energy harvesting center, or because pyramids are supposed to be energy conductors, or like power plants supposedly, and likely in this matrix it's probably energy harvester for people, just like the Luxor pyramid in Las Vegas, where certain things happened. I mean, these are actual names, geographical names of places: Magic Mountain, Pyramid Lake. I'm not making these names up, but the actual landscape does resemble pyramids. And not to mention that they chem the crap out of the skies, like hashtag craziness. I haven't seen chems like this in a long time. Oh my gosh, it's insane. Yeah, and there's this huge privately owned property called Tejon Ranch. I've actually looked this stuff up before because it's interested me, this area of California. And it's Tejon, I think it's Tejon Ranch. It's huge. I think it's one of the largest privately owned land properties, at least in California, if not the United States. Well, I don't know, but it's huge, and it's all up here in the Grapevine, and I don't even know why they call it the Grapevine anyways, because there's no grapes here. It's pretty dry, but it's so there's also the Getty Museum and the Griffith Observatory. Those at least the Griffin Museum, I know there's this elevator that goes deep down to deep down to like a deep underground military base, and or I think it's connected to a lot of probably breakaway, like a whole breakaway society. There's a whole city underneath Los Angeles, and that's like actually a known thing. That's been like out in the open. There's lots of underground cities underneath cities, and actually back when I was still, like, before my awakening, you know, a few years ago, like 5 years ago ish, my ex-husband, he actually told me about a time before we had met when he had lived and he had seen the underground city underneath Las Vegas, and he was like telling me, like, no, there's like a real city, like a whole city underneath Las Vegas. And like for a time he was like living on the streets and stuff, and I don't want to tell his life story or anything, but at the time I like kind of just brushed it off, like, not that I didn't believe him, but in my head I just pictured, like, you know, in those movies like of New York where there's like a killer and then they go underneath into the subways and there's like little like homeless cities and people in boxes, and they make like, it's kind of a little like hovel city, and there's like a lot of people down there, but they make it kind of nice with their cardboard boxes, and that's what I had pictured when he was telling me. And I was kind of, you know, looking back on it, pretty, I guess, dismissive of him, of his story, because he knew that I think he kind of knew that I wasn't really listening to him, or I don't know, but he didn't really go into a lot of details because I honestly didn't ask a lot of questions. I mean, I did, but I guess I had this picture in my head of what it was like. But now that I, you know, have done all this research and stuff through my awakening process, I realized that, like, he was actually telling me of an experience where he, like, witnessed a whole, like, there's whole cities, like, where, like, skyscrapers are underground, and certain people have access to these places. And you have to run in certain circles, and usually they're pretty dark circles. Or you're in some kind of line of work where you get like memory wiped a lot, and that like happens to people. But anyways, I don't want to make this video too long. So it would be interesting to hear what you guys think about the Pyramid Mountains, Pyramid Lake above LA, and anything you guys know about like the actual architecture of LA and how it might be connected, and like harvesting energy. Yeah, here it is, Tejon Pass. Elevation, it's 4,144. 4144. We'll leave it at that. Bye everybody.